episode 15 of The Power of Now. This episode is brought to you by noooo. noooo is a meme coin on the Solana blockchain. I'm going to put all the links in the description to the deck screener and to the X profile on what used to be called Twitter. I'm not used to calling it X, but basically the idea is building generational wealth while voicing your political opinion. It's a great coin. I'm actually invested in it myself. I wouldn't be talking about it on my podcast if I didn't truly believe in it. And you know, it was really built on blue collar workers and mostly union members that decided to band together in a way to build something outside of the system that they feel has been not representing them. So it's definitely a good cause. Look into that. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce our guest. He's a guy that through mutual friends I've started to know a little bit more about, and I was eager to have him on the podcast to discuss more. He's a musician, a filmmaker. His name is John Dice Seeley. Thanks for coming out, brother.
Thanks for having me, bro.
So, I wanted to start off. I've been aware of your music for years, and that's something that, to me, little background on myself, like, I used to make music when I was younger. I made short films, and I was into a lot of different creative things. I did stand-up comedy for some time, and at a point in my life, I went in a different direction. I went more into business, and I kind of dropped all the creative stuff that I was doing, and because I kind of found that I was gifted with sales, and I was making a lot of money. I decided to open up my own business, and I put all my time and just dedicated myself to that. I got completely married to it. I left behind a lot of things that I was passionate about. And a couple years ago, I kind of always had it in the back of my mind, but a couple years ago, I started to notice a lot of my friends like you, Prophet, other people that I grew up with that were still making music and, still concentrating on things that, I knew that I used to be passionate about. And, I even saw a guy that I was doing stand-up comedy with, headlining all over the country, doing these huge shows. And I was like, damn, like, did I rob myself of something, And, it kind of just dawned on me that there's a lot of people out there that have something that they're passionate about that they either have given up on or they never truly pursued because either their parents or their teachers or somebody told them, that it wasn't worth going after, or that it was more practical to do something else, or maybe they just had their own self-doubt. And so I started this podcast kind of interviewing people that I saw that inspired me, that I was like, wow, like these people are still out there doing something. And, like when I see you guys at film festivals and putting out music and art, I'm just like, damn, like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Like, is business everything? Like, should I have just been pursuing this the whole time? And, I don't like to live in the what ifs. So, one day I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to do a podcast. I bought all the podcast equipment. I started talking to people because I want other people to hear these stories. So, the first thing I wanted to ask you about, was there ever a time in your life where you were like thinking like I should quit doing this and do something else?
Yeah, I mean, probably more times than I could count.
Right.
I started when I was 13. I started just writing music, and, through my journey, starting hip hop, making music, turning these lyrics into actual songs, and just growing up with the people I was doing music with, like a lot of time went on, and I didn't have supporters that I have now. Back then, there were a lot of naysayers, a lot of people telling me, hey man, you suck. And I did.
Yeah.
So
everybody does.
They weren't wrong, but it took a long time. But I always used to say that, one of my old friends, Mike, he used to go by a stage name Mystery.
Okay.
And he was always very good at sports. He was good at sports. He was like into like working out, everything like that. And, I always told him, I'm like, man, like, I wish I could do that. I wish I could like be great at sports. And he's like, well, you don't try. And it's like, yeah, and then I would like do it a little bit and I would quit. I'd try something else, quit. Like everything I would try, I would quit. The only thing I really never quit was music.
Right.
And I felt like that was the reason why, was because you know, that was kind of like a therapy for me
Mm-hmm.
after my dad's passing when I was younger. So, you know, with all the naysayers and like this constant thought of like, why is it that I quit everything else, but for some reason I didn't quit this?
Mm-hmm.
It kept me going. But after a while, you know, like you were saying, there were thoughts in my head where I'm like, damn, like, am I doing this like for a reason, you know, or is this just a waste of time? You
Right.
know, maybe I should apply myself more to school. Maybe I should do better. Maybe I should put my ass in college. Maybe I should, you know, and I didn't do those things. You know, I kind of like, I really took a step back from those things just so I can focus on just like music. And a lot of people would just be like, what is this guy doing? Like, why is he doing like, oh, everybody wants to do this. But something in the back of my mind was like, nah, you got to keep doing it. You
Yeah.
can't stop. You know, you're here for a reason. You're doing this for a reason, you know, and you started for a reason. So, yeah, I mean, to answer the question, I think about it and thought about it more times than I can count. You know, sometimes it still runs through my head where I'm just like, why do I still do this? But, you know, branching off into other elements and stuff is what kept me like, nah, like there's too much that I can do in here now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I get that, man. It's like, you know, for me, I don't think I ever even thought about quitting what I was doing. It was kind of, for me, it was more of just, it just happened one day where like I always just thought my life would be one way. I never saw myself doing anything other than just like making videos and because I used to do music videos and I was putting stuff out on YouTube and I was always a writer. I always would write like blogs and stuff like that. And I had no other direction in life. So I was just like, this is just what I'm going to do. Like I had no plans of doing anything else. And like everything else I was doing was kind of just to support what I really wanted to do. Like if I had some kind of bullshit job, it was just so that I could make enough money to keep doing what I wanted to be doing. And you know, like even when I was in school, I was just doing that to appease my family so they wouldn't fucking call me a loser or like,
Yeah.
or like they would just let me keep doing what I wanted to do. It was just like appeasement. But, you know, and then one day, I got this job that was literally just so I could make enough money to do stand up. Cause at that time, that's what I really wanted to do. I was like sure that that's what I was going to end up doing. And, I just fucking started killing it. And like, I saw this paycheck and I was like, holy fuck. Like, I was like, maybe I should just focus on this. Like, I'm good at this. Like, it's already like in my head, I was like, I'd always thought like, if I could just make enough money to support myself through comedy or making videos, like that's just what I'll do. But then the like greed is a motherfucker. And like, I saw that money and I was like, if I just did this and I've only been doing sales for 3 months and I've been making all this content for fucking, at that point I was 24, so I'd probably been making videos and all that shit for 10 years already. I was like, fuck this. Like I just one day was like, because the thing with comedy is you're in bars and clubs late at night, you're there till 2-3 in the morning sometimes to get on stage.
Yeah.
And there's the only payoff is that you get to practice your material and see if it makes people laugh, and if it does make people laugh then you keep it. If it doesn't, then you either fine tune it or throw it away. So
Yeah.
it's just like there was no payoff in sight. And I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I can't be up all night. I was like, I need to like go home from work. I need to study like product knowledge. I need to learn more about psychology and sales and how this works. Like I want to be the best at this that I could be. And I just fucking dropped everything. And I woke up like 8 years later and I was like, what the fuck did I do?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of give and take with that. And you know, I don't regret my decisions, but I feel like now that I have the opportunity and I'm like, you know, now I look at it like what I do every day for work, I don't love it. You know, like,
Yeah.
like there's parts of it that I love. Like I still do enjoy making sales. Like there's something about being a salesman that is exciting and there's a rush to it. Like when you're able to close deals and see the kind of profit that you're able to generate for a business, it's an exciting feeling.
Yeah.
But it's not what I'm passionate about. Like when I have these conversations with people and I edit the videos, like, and I put them up online and I get reactions from people where they're like, wow, that was good. That was an interesting conversation. Or, you know, something that you posted inspired me. Like that's the kind of shit that I'm like, if I could just, like, I'm back at the point where I'm like, I did a full circle where I'm like, if I could just make enough money to survive off this, it's all I would want to fucking do.
Yeah.
So I totally get that. And so when you started, like, how did you make the transition from making music to where you said, like, I want to start making films now?
I mean, films took a little bit of time, you know, that kind of developed off of music videos.
Right.
When I was doing music, I mean, way back when, probably like 2008, you know,
Okay.
I was like, damn, I got to do some music videos, you know. But
Right.
me, I'm always like, I really don't want to pay people
Right.
to do that, you know. So, and the thing is that I'm so controlling with my shit,
Yeah, I get
where
it.
it's just like, you know, when it came down to engineering, I'm like, nobody's gonna engineer my stuff like I do,
Yeah.
because I just know my vocals, you know. So I felt the same way with videos. I'm like, nobody's gonna do these videos the way I would do my videos, you know. The only problem is that I'm one person, so I can't film myself,
Yeah.
you know. So I would like hire people to film, and then I'd be like, give me the footage and I'll do everything, you know.
Right.
I'll direct them. So, you know, I started off doing like a little bit of that, you know, put like a little video out here and there and stuff like that. And like going, you know, on to like Love Lies. I mean, when me and Prophet NYC reconnected, I had, you know, a few videos out that I worked with some other people and stuff like that. Nothing crazy, but me and Prophet reconnected. You know, we go way back. We've done music in the past, but we reconnected and we were like, you know, let's just like do some music together, see where it goes, you know. And we did, and we went to a studio in the city. We worked with Chris Conway. Shout out to Chris Conway.
Over at No Mystery.
And yep.
Yeah.
And you know, we did Love Lies. That was, I believe that was the first song that we did together. I want to say it was the first song. Yeah, I believe it was. I don't know if it was Love Lies or Mask On. I think it was Love Lies. So yeah, it was Love Lies. So we did Love Lies together, and we were listening to it in the car on the way back, and we were just like, yo, like, this needs a music video.
Mm-hmm.
So we started thinking about that, and we were like, you know what? Like, we got to actually, like, make this something special. Like, we don't want to just do a regular-ass music video
Right.
that people do so much of. And we wound up connecting with, I'm not even going to say his name. We don't work with him anymore, but we wound up working with another filmmaker, and he introduced us to a couple of actresses, and super, super talented Janelle Yule and Anna Mayo. And me and Sean just started like thinking of Sean Prophet NYC. I think that's the first time I said his actual name now in here. But so me and him were talking about this video, and we started, you know, thinking about what we could do, and, you know, these acting scenes and writing like this, the whole like narration of it and stuff. And we wound up casting it, and Janelle and Anna, you know, played the two roles in it.
Yeah.
And we just started like developing like a short film.
Right.
You know, and me and Sean were like scared shitless because we never acted.
Yeah.
We're like, yo, we don't belong here. Like, we don't fucking do this. We rap. Like, that's what we do.
Yeah.
You know, but we did it. And you know, we were happy with it, you know, like it was a lot of work, a shit ton of work. And you know, we wound up putting it out, and it wound up doing really well. We did like a bullshit last minute premiere on YouTube, like, hey, everybody jump on, and it actually did well with that too, thankfully. But where it all changed is when we started submitting for like film festivals.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I just randomly was like, you know what, I'm just going to put it in film festivals. I'm just going to submit it and see what happens.
Absolutely.
And we were just like, yeah, like whatever, you know, we probably won't see nothing out of this. But I just had a feeling. And I put it up, and then it was like, boom, it won an award for this, award for that, award for that, award for this. And it was just like left and right. And I was like, holy shit. And I think it all started clicking when I received one of the awards from Indyfest. Now, Indyfest is like a huge film festival. They're connected with like the Academy Awards, so the Oscars, the Emmys. You know, their award that they give their winners is made by the same company that makes the Oscars. So it's very similar. You know, It's basically like the same material, everything. And it's when I received that, and I was, you know, sitting there with my kids. My wife like recorded me opening up this award, like basically accepting it for the team.
Yeah.
And, you know, it just like hit me and I was like, holy shit, like this is fucking crazy. Like I never thought I would be holding something like this. And we won 8 of them.
Wow.
So, you know, when that happened, I was like, yo, we could actually do this. And it felt like we were kind of like we took the back door in because like we had Anna and Janelle who are extremely, extremely talented and experienced actors. So it's like, you know, I'm like, yo, like we just like kind of like use the cheat code to get in here. But, you know, we just got like passionate about it. You know, Prophet is extremely knowledgeable when it comes to film. Extremely talented, you know, he's extremely passionate about it. I learned a lot from him with it too, as he was learning too. But, you know, without rambling on too long about it,
nah, I mean,
you know,
this is exactly like what I was interested in. So, and it's like, you know, I watched the film too. Like you guys did an excellent job, and it's like I've seen a lot of independent films, short films, and like. I didn't know what to expect. Like, I actually probably set my expectations low because I was like, I never seen Sean act before. I never seen either one of you guys act, obviously. You guys hadn't acted before.
Yeah.
And, but I watched and I was like, holy shit, like, this is really fucking good. Like,
Thank you.
Everything about it, like the color grading, the sound, like everything came out really good. And like, I've seen short films before where like you'll watch it and like the video looks good, but the audio, you could just tell it doesn't sound right.
Yeah,
and it's just like, it'll throw the whole thing for you. Even like these days, there's so much more access to like short films and independent films than there used to be. I've always been a film nerd. So like I used to watch like independent film channel and I used to find like low budget movies to watch because, you know, I was always interested in it. That was like my first love was filmmaking. My first major in college, all that. And so I've like seen these movies where I'm like, fuck, like this would have been so good if the sound didn't suck, or this would have been so good if the cameras didn't fucking suck, or the lighting didn't suck.
Yeah.
But like I really thought that it looked good, it sounded good, everything about it I really liked. And the actors did a great job. The guy that portrayed your father, he did a great job. You did a great job. Like the scene that hit me was when you saw your father after he had passed away and he was like, he's like, I'm okay. You know, I'm okay. Right. And you said, but I'm not.
Yeah.
And, you know, that part hit me. Cause like, you know, I've lost a lot of people close to me too.
Yeah.
Like I know that feeling of just not being okay. And so like, that was an emotional moment and it came through like watching the film as an audience member. So I wanted to commend you on that. And and I'm definitely going to put the link in the description, but yeah, like seeing you guys, like the locations that you guys had, like there's, like, I could go ramble on and on about how great it came out. Like it was just impressive because I know what it takes to make these movies. Like when I was a kid and I would do it, like my biggest obstacle was I would write my whole film around knowing that I probably wasn't going to get permission to film in a lot of different places because I was a fucking kid with the camera who was going to let me do it. So I would have to like set the whole film in places that I knew I would have permission. So it would be at the high school. They would let us do it during our free periods, or I actually had an elective where they let us do it. Or like I'd have to do it in one of my friends' houses or just in public somewhere. Like those were the only places we could film. Partially because I was probably afraid to ask. I mean, even being a kid with the camera, I probably could have walked into a business and said, hey, can we film here? And, you know, done certain things. But yeah, like seeing you guys pull that off was huge. Like I was like, you know, I wanted to ask you guys about that whole process.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it kind of all fell into place, you know, and I'll just say from before, you know, after we did finish Love Lies, seeing everything that it did, you know, Sean and I were like, I keep saying Sean and Prophet. I'll stick with Prophet. Prophet and I.
I'll probably call him Sean.
Yeah. So if y'all know, like Sean Prophet, that's the same person. All right. So nobody's confused. But so Prophet and I were like, you know what, like we could really do this. You know, like we really like, because like we won like these awards and shit, and like we weren't expecting it. So we were like, what if like we really put our all into something? Mm-hmm. And, you know, it was like my part of Devils was something I always wanted to talk about. It was something I always wanted to talk about in music, but how do you write that? Mm-hmm. You know, it was just hard. That's why I've never really like talked about my dad too much in music or made a song for him. That's why I've never really made a song directly for my kids yet, because how do you put that much into a song? A song is only so long. You can only say so much. So, you know, I was like, you know what, this is the perfect way to like actually talk about this. But Devils did start off as a music video as well. And then it turned into a film. And that's all also thanks to Anna Mayo. You know, she also directed, her and I were the two directors on the film. She wrote the script. You know, we wrote the story together. She put the entire script together.
Wow.
So she structured that entire thing. So shout out to her.
Yeah.
But, you know, so it became what it was over a course of time. I didn't even want my dad in it at first because I didn't think I was ready for that.
Right.
But, you know, we were all a good support system for each other, me, Prophet, and Anna. And, you know, they were like, listen, if we're going to tell the story, we got to go all the way. You got to have your dad in it.
Right.
We can't talk about your dad and not have him in it.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's what we did. And it's same thing for Sean's story. I mean, there were things that, you know, he was even a little reluctant to like show.
Yeah.
And we were like, we got to go all out. And I think seeing him being willing to do that is what made me be willing to do that and vice versa. And it just turned into what it was, you know. But yeah, I mean, with the whole process of it, it kind of worked out. One of the people that I worked with, her son, Carmine, that's the person who played me when I was younger.
Okay.
is actually a coworker's son.
Okay.
And she was like, I think he would do a phenomenal job. And I just like went out on a limb and I was like, you know what? Like, I want to meet this kid. I want to see, you know, what he's capable of. And just meeting him and like talking to him, like he's just such a mature kid.
Okay.
Like you talk to this kid, you think he's like 30,
right?
But he's like 10. You know, at the time he was 9, now he's 10. But I was like, yo, like this kid is like old.
Yeah.
You know? But
yeah, I was impressed with him too, because like that's the other thing. It's hard to get child actors, like even in stuff that's not low budget.
He never had an acting class.
Wow.
He's never done anything before. He's never even been in a school play.
Wow.
And we just found out he just won an award for best child actor for it too.
Wow, that's awesome.
So we just found out about that too, so which is cool. But you know, he just like we sat down with him and he's just like, yeah, I could do this. Like, just like going over the script, and he just like starts doing it, and we're just like, okay, like that's cool, you know? Because naturally, it's like when you have like professionals like Anna Mayo, and she's so involved in the acting and filmmaking world, she's like, you know, you sure? Like, you know, because that's the thing. Yeah. It's like, you know, do we want to go with somebody who has the experience? Because what if it doesn't go well?
Yeah.
What if he can't do it when the cameras come on? The white hot light is different when that's on you. It's like being on stage. Once those lights turn on and the mic's on, it's just like you don't know. But it's like the cameras turn on and this kid just came to life more, and it just worked out, you know. And we filmed like in his home, like his family was like, "Yo, let's do this," and that, you know, essentially thanks to them, you know, that saved us money as well. So you know, I'm not gonna sit here and act like it didn't cost a lot of money. It did.
Yeah.
But we were able to save in certain areas that worked out for us. It's weird because it's like there were a lot of things in the film that they just like, I don't know. It's like those like moments where you're just like, wow, is that like a sign from something? It's like things just happened. Yeah. And even when I was like standing in their kitchen, I'm like, yo, this kind of resembles the kitchen that I was in when I was a kid. You know, it's like just like weird. You know, things like that happened throughout the entire making of the film. But yeah, I mean, with that process, like it just like things fell together, you know, the church scenes. When we first started Devils and it was just a music video, it was just, like I said, it was just going to be a music video. It was Carmine. He was obviously playing the younger me. He was just doing scenes in the church. Those are the scenes when he was in the suit.
Yep.
And then, you know, not the funeral. It was just the church scenes when his hair was shorter and stuff. He was a little bit younger.
Okay.
We filmed those scenes like months and months beforehand. And everything was just in this one church out east on Long Island.
Okay.
When we filmed the outside scenes of the church, that was during when we actually wanted to make it a full film. And that was an entirely different church in Inwood.
Okay.
So like we just started piecing these things together, you know, and it just started like, it was just crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like like you said, like it's hard to get into certain places, hard to do certain things, but we space so many things out over a course of time, and we just kind of put the pieces together as they formed.
Did you guys raise funding, or did you self-fund the whole thing?
We self-funded it.
Okay.
Next time we're gonna.
Yeah. Well, now,
because
now
dude,
that
it
you
was
guys
so
have,
expensive.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Now that you guys have like awards and you've shown that you've done it before, like that's huge, because you could show that to people and be like, look, like we're not amateurs. Like we've done this before. We've won awards. You could see what something we've already done.
Yeah.
And see the awards that we got for it. Like this is real, you know. And that's cool that you guys were able to like already get to that platform. And so I'm assuming now, based on what you already said, that the whole like the West Egg like wasn't planned until after you guys made this film and it was successful, that you thought like what else can we do? Is that kind of what happened?
So with West Egg, West Egg actually was first. I'm not even gonna say it was a record label.
Okay.
What happened was Prophet put West Egg Records on, I believe it was his Greenlight album.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I believe it was.
All right.
And when we were in the studio with Chris Conway, working on The Beauty of Misery, I said to Prophet, I was like, what's West Egg? And he was just like, when I put it out, it was asking for like a label name, and I was like, West Egg Records. And I was like, I really like that. It's kind of dope. And he was like, yeah, you know, he's like, I just kind of just thought it up. So I was like, I don't know, I like it. So when we did The Beauty of Misery, I still put West Egg on it as well.
Yeah.
So fast forward, as we started working on Devils, we were like, you know what, we have something here. We're putting way too much work in. We need to come up with a company name. So Prophet, Anna, and I were like, we need to like solidify this as a group thing, like a tripod, you know. And we were thinking of a name and stuff, and I was saying to Prophet, I was like, I mean, West Egg Records was a thing. I mean, obviously it's not a record label, but like maybe we could do West Egg something. So it was like West Egg, then we're like West Egg Films, West Egg, and we were thinking, and I forgot which one of us said it, but we were like West Egg Media.
Right.
And everybody was like, yeah, we like that. So I was in the car with my wife one day, and I was like, I really need to like make a logo for this, because I do like all like the graphic designing in the company. And you know, I started like writing like the words and stuff, and my wife goes, what if you took the letters but kind of like merged them with like an egg and then brought it around? And I was like, oh, I like that. So like my wife kind of drew it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, maybe if I like disconnect this, and like that became the logo, and then I designed it. So it's like that whole thing wound up forming because we knew that like we were going to take Devils all the way.
Yeah.
And we were like, we need something. Like we can't just like put it out and not have it under something and then be like, now we're a company, you know. It's like we needed some like a foundation.
Right.
And that's how it all came to be. I mean, we made West Egg, and you know, now we just have a bunch of shit under our belts, and we have people sending us scripts all the time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you guys have anything planned, like any projects that are going right now?
Yeah, I mean, we have quite a few things. Before Devils, we had something we were working on, one of my music videos from my Lanes project. So that's something that's still on the table. We did put together the Back to You video. That was something because, you know, we put a lot of work into like these like longer projects, and then there's times where we're just like, you know, we got to push stuff out. Like these films take too long to make, you know. So but I know that Prophet and Anna have a couple of things they're working on. I don't want to, you know, I don't know how much information I'm allowed to say, but I'll, you know, but they're working on some stuff. I was working on a series that I've been writing and stuff, so that's something that's on the table. So we have quite a few projects. I mean, there's one that we were thinking of as well, which was like us kind of going slowly into like the horror genre as well. Nice. So, you know, there's like a bunch of different things that we have, you know, and then also, of course, like music videos that we're just going to pump out and just put out, or more red mic sessions, things like that, just to keep, you know, the workflow going. But, you know, once we did film, it's like we're kind of just so, I just love filmmaking. Yeah. We all three of us just love it. Right. You know, just the problem with filmmaking is, like I said, it's time consuming. Yeah. You can't just pump things out. And as much as we are filmmakers and we love it, you know, Prophet and I are also, you know, music artists. And when you start like giving to one side of it, the other side of it's like, yo, what happened, man?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
where's
yeah.
the music? Like, what's going on?
Right.
We've been listening to Mask On for the last like 3 years. Like,
Yeah.
why, you know? So,
Yeah.
it's cool though.
Yeah, you got to find a balance there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard because like when you love so many things, I mean, it's like you said, you know, it's like you love so many things and you want to like go into all these different elements and stuff like that. But it's just like, it's a lot. It's a lot to keep up with, you know?
Yeah. That's how I feel now with like, I'm still balancing like my full-time work, but I do this podcast and like people don't realize how time consuming this shit is. And then I put out content on social media like daily just because I decided one day I was like, I want to see if I can grow my social media and use that as a way to, you know, show people the podcast and then, you know, use the podcast and kind of like cross promote. And so I'm like all day I'm like on Twitter because I'm doing stuff on there. All day I'm not all day, but I have to create content every single day to put out on Instagram, which, you know, then it's basically just copy and paste to TikTok and Facebook and everything else. But it's still like there's so much work that goes into it because when I make these podcasts, what I generally do is I record it, then I have to upload the audio, the video. I have to put it into like a multicam on Final Cut and then go through the whole thing and, you know, basically make cuts, go back and forth, camera to camera. And then once that's done and I have a completed podcast, you got to upload it, create a title, description. But then I go back and I pull little clips where where I could say like, how can I make this into a 1 minute little like hook to draw people in, to make them want to see the whole podcast. So now I go back into Final Cut and I'm like, usually I'll use a marker and like if I'm editing and I'm like, this could be good, I'll like put markers in. Yeah. Then I got to go back and like, but sometimes it's like a 5-minute conversation that I have to cut down into a minute. So I'm like, I'm cutting out the ums and the uhs and you know, sometimes I'm cutting out parts of the conversation that are too long, and then I'm just trying to clip it down to where I could take the best minute of it. And each time I do that, that could take me an hour or two for each one, and I do that 3 times for every episode. Yep. And then I'm writing a caption for that, uploading that. So it just takes so much fucking time to do everything. And but I love it. So it's like, so I work Monday through Friday. Then I do this, and then I spend my whole weekend first editing the whole podcast and then creating those little teaser clips. By Monday, like that's all I've spent my weekend doing. Yeah. And so that's kind of like why, you know, like people have asked me if I have a team that edits for me, and like I could, but it's like I'm afraid that if I send this footage to somebody and have them come up with they're not going to pick the clips that I would have picked, or they're not going to do it the way that I would want to do it. So my only option is to either get this shit to be big enough that I could just quit my day job and just do this full time, or I'm just gonna be a busy motherfucker for a while. But I'm cool with it because it's something that I enjoy doing. So, but yeah, like everything to do with video is super time consuming, but the thing is with music is if you're doing it right, then that's time consuming too, because you know, like when we were kids and we could just record it at home and like use like Acid Pro or whatever shit we had.
Shit, I haven't heard that.
Or Audacity.
Mixcraft.
Yeah, I used Audacity too. And then my
Cool Edit.
Cool
My
Edit.
God, that shit just fucking.
but like in those days, it was so easy, and what really wasn't time consuming because we were just sitting around writing anyway, and then we'd be like, all right, fuck it, let's record this. Yeah. But when you actually get to the level where you're like, I want this to be professional, well, now you go to a studio and you book a 3-hour session just to fucking lay down the vocals. That's not even the mixing and the mastering, you know. So it's like anything that you're really putting your all into, it's fucking time consuming. Yeah. And so, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. Like, people don't realize it, you know, and that's the thing. Like, I can't talk too much shit because of the fact that I talk a lot of shit about a lot of rappers. So it's like, you know, I diss a lot of people. In the next shit I'm doing, I diss a lot of people. But like, the thing is like, so when I say like people don't appreciate what people do because, you know, you could spend a year making something and they could just be like, it sucks, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, that's why I say, I can't say too much because I go and talk shit about people too. But the thing is that from an artist standpoint, from a creative standpoint on all of those different angles. It's a lot of work, like you said. It's a lot of work. And I remember that blew my mind when you were talking about these old programs, man. Like, holy shit. I remember recording on a compact computer with the compact mic built in.
Yeah.
You know, then going to like plug-in mics and like fucking Cool Edit and Mixcraft. And like, I was literally recording into Cool Edit Pro with a fucking serial key that I got from somewhere from this. I forgot the guy's name. Mystery would probably be able to tell, fucking Tom Swissguard or whatever his fucking name was.
That just blew my mind, the serial key, because I remember getting all the shit off LimeWire, and then you had to like find the fucking serial key. I forget what the program was that did that shit, but I remember doing that shit too.
Yeah, and it's like, and then it's like I recorded to that. Then I would have to take it off. Then I have to put everything on Mixcraft, and I have to put that through. And then I got like a mixing board, and then I was recording the mixing board, taking it off, putting it on that. It's like, holy shit. Like, it took so long. And it's like, and then you would just like give somebody a song and they'll be like, I don't like it. It's like, bro.
Yo, you're going to laugh at this. So me, Prophet, Yucky, Mizzy, and I forget who the fuck else, maybe Jay Jackson, but we were all, this is back like high school, and we had this shitty fucking mic. And then one day we were like, yo, if we all pool our money together, we can get a really fucking good mic. Yeah. So we pooled our money together. We went to Music Land. I don't know if it's still called Music Land, but that's where we went. And we bought this fucking mic, and it was supposed to be like, we had researched it. It was so fucking good. Yeah. But it didn't work when we plugged it in, and we couldn't figure it out. Yeah. Because you needed like a phantom power. Yeah, phantom cord, XLR input. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we were like, what the fuck? Why the fuck didn't they tell us we need this? Yo, we were all excited to fucking use this mic, and we couldn't even use the goddamn thing. Yeah.
Nah, man. Like, I remember like when I got my first mixing board, it was a Tascam DP01 FX CDR. And that shit, man, when I first got it, I was like, I don't even think when I finally stopped using it, I was even using the fucking thing right, because I was like recording to it, and then I'm like, it got a CD disc drive, and it's like, now I got to take this shit out. Now I got to put it on there. I got to take the vocals off the CD. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I don't have to do this. I just have to record into it, and then I can plug it into the computer and take the vocals off. Yeah. And then after I was like, you know what? I'm going directly through a computer from now on. I was just like, I could have just recorded to the fucking computer the whole time with the mixing board. And it's like, you know what, you don't know, you know, but like that's like the funny part. It's just like, you just go through like a learning process, and as much as like all the years that, you know, you spend putting that time in and stuff, it makes you better, because that whole time, although I was like, if I would have just went directly to a computer, it would have saved me so much time, but I wouldn't have learned people's vocals the way I did. Mm-hmm. I had to get so like down gritty with people's vocals to learn them, in order to use such a bare minimum amount of like EQing and you know, reverb that I had for these vocals. And it's like, because of that, I learned people like different vocals and how and what I need to do to them to make them sound better. Right. So when I finally threw in the towel and went to like recording into like an iMac, you know, and using Pro Tools and Logic, and then I was just like, holy shit, like this is so much easier for me now, you know, because I went through hell and back. Yeah. But it's crazy, man. Like, it's so much fucking work. It really is to, you know, and especially like when you want to do it yourself, and you don't want to pay people, and you don't want to go that route. Yeah. But it makes you better. You know, but it's just nowadays, people don't nobody's going to do that. They're like, I got an AI fucking app that'll just do it for me, and it sounds great. And I'm like, it doesn't, but you know.
It's so crazy, like just because of the technology, and like for example, like Juice WRLD being able to make the quality of music he did, like in his house, in his bedroom as a kid. I was like, what the fuck? Like when we were kids, the first mic I ever used wasn't even, it was like this little thin, it wasn't even supposed to be used to like record. It was really supposed to be used to like talk to your computer, so it could like type whatever. I don't really know what it was. It was like a conference mic. Yeah. And we didn't,
so like the plug-in one, like the long stem one. And
the long stem, like that was the first thing that we ever used. And when I first recorded anything, I was in like 5th grade. Yeah. So I didn't know any of the softwares we needed. So me and my friends literally had a boombox with an instrumental playing. We burned an instrumental onto a CD, played it in the background, rapped over it, listened to it, and if the vocals were either not loud enough, we would like adjust it and just do it again. Like that was our first process. Yeah. Like, and that's how fucking bad the technology was. That's how bad our knowledge was on how to do it. And like my first videos, I used to, before I even had a camera that you could upload it onto a computer and edit it. This is when I was a kid. Like, my dad had a camcorder that he would use to like record graduations or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
So I would like take that camcorder and I would record shit, and then I would use like a whatever that shit is, like an analog, just to plug it into the TV, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then I would use a VCR, and I would take like a blank tape, and I would record, and I would like cut when I wanted to cut, and then I also figured out how to dub the audio, where I could take like a CD player and play the song I wanted and use the cord to plug into the TV. Bro, like I was fucking rigging this shit any way that I could figure out how to make what I wanted to make. And I had no technology. I was just basically A-dubbing fucking audio onto a VCR.
Yeah.
And if I wanted to put a title, I would just like hold a fucking literal, like a title I'd print out off the computer in front of the fucking camera on the tripod for like a couple frames, and I'd just like splice that in. Dude, it's so crazy.
People will never know the fucking struggle that we went through. Yo, we had to go through that to give people what they have now. You know what I'm saying? Like, now everybody just has it handed to them. But like,
bro,
we went
now
through
you can do this shit on your phone like
struggle.
10 times better with like CapCut.
Dude, they got fucking shit that like the fucking the camera that literally just follows you. Drones will fucking follow you now. Bro. It's like, I don't even need a cameraman anymore. That shit will just in the fucking sky. Like,
that's so dope. Like, seeing what you could do with that. Because when we were kids and we watched a movie, if you wanted to get an aerial shot like that, you needed a goddamn helicopter and a fucking multi-million-dollar budget. Now you go fucking get a drone, and you can get those shots like just for like a low budget independent. Like, it's dope what technology does in that way. Like I like that about technology.
Yep.
I don't like the fact that I'm convinced that if the government wants to listen to me, they could tap into my Alexa and they could tap into my phone. They could tap into that fucking webcam on my cam. Like, I know that if they want to listen, they could listen. I don't like that part of technology, but the part about technology I like is that a kid like me, when I was growing up and I was like 8 years old and I wanted to make a movie because I was obsessed with movies, had to go through all that bullshit, and it still came out like shit. These kids, if they either borrow their parents' cell phone or they have a cell phone already, they could literally just make a fucking movie.
Oh, yeah.
Just with their phone. They don't even have to put it on the computer.
Like, they have apps now where you could, like, fucking just film yourself, like, just rapping over your song, put it on there, put your little headphones in, play it out loud, whatever you want to do, and just, like, rap it straight through, perform it. Then I'll be like, all right, let's do it again. Then do it again. All right, do it again. Do it as many times as you want. Fucking app will literally just like make the music video for you.
Really?
You know? Yeah, yeah. I mean, they have fucking, you could literally go on like Google now and just be like, hey, write me a song about, you know, a relationship and I got broken up with. She cheated on me and, you know, it was a horrible situation and now I'm mad about it, but I'm also pissed off and I really want to get revenge. And it'll make you a whole fucking rap song about it and be like, do you want me to find you a beat? It's like, what the fuck, man? Yeah. Like, I don't even know how people are going to make money anymore when it comes to it, because it's like everything is just done for you. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. That's why I say, like, they're never going to know the struggle that we went through just to make music, that people would just be like, yo, this shit sucks.
Yeah.
Now it's like, at least if people tell you your shit sucks, AI made it for you. So I can be like, that wasn't me. That was AI. They fucking suck.
Blame the computer.
Mine would be better, but I don't have to do all that.
Bro, I remember we wanted to put out an album when we were in high school. So we forgot how the fuck. We got some, I don't know if we just had somebody take a picture of us and then we edited it, photoshopped it. But we actually went and bought like we bought like a shit, probably 100 CDs that were with like the jewel cases, and we bought like these inserts that you could print out a fucking album cover. Yo, we designed like an album cover, and we put the track list on the back of it. We printed it out, and then we had to manually like put all of the inserts into these CDs.
Yeah, you popped off like the colored part of it.
Yeah, pop that part out, put in the track list on the back, put the insert in the front, and made it all double-sided. Like, we made this shit look like a real fucking CD. Like, it looked legit. And we even had like a label printer, so the CD had printing on it, so it looked like an actual CD. And yo, that shit took us so fucking long just to make like 100 copies. And then we like we went to Looney Tunes and they put 10 copies of it on consignment for us. I don't even know if they ever sold. We never went back to try to collect. I'm sure people bought them just to support us, but it wasn't about that. We just wanted to be like, yo, our fucking CD's in the store. You can go buy it.
Yeah.
And we gave out a bunch of copies to our family and we brought them to school and like just fucking, but just having like a real fucking product that was ours, you know, like, and kids will never know about that because they don't even use fucking CDs anymore.
I know. And that's, you know, that's the thing, man. Like it's crazy. Like I said, talking about this stuff, like even like putting fucking, I remember I did this one project. It was so fucking corny. Like the fucking, like the cover was like me with this hoodie on and it's just like so fucking, it was so stupid, bro. But like, I was like, giving them out in school and people were just like, yo, bro, you got that fucking album? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like handing it out. And I'm like, now if I don't even know where that shit is, but now if I ever heard it, I'd be like, oh, like, nah.
That's how I feel. Like I want to, if I could find any of those copies, I don't know where the fuck they are either, but I'm sure like looking back on it. And the worst part about it is I gave a copy of it to Joe Budden because not that one, but looking back on it, I'm embarrassed because I had another tape so we went to a meet and greet with Joe Budden at the cop shop in Smithtown. You ever go there?
Nah, no.
So they're not there anymore, but the dude that owned the place was like, you walk in there, he had pictures of him hanging out with Big L and like all these like fucking rap like legends.
Yeah.
So he just knew people in the industry, and so every so often there would be like Fab was in his shop before, but
that's what's up.
But we were all big fans of Budden, so when Padded Room came out, they did an album signing there. And we went there and we didn't know what to expect. So we just like bought a copy of the album, had him sign it. We got a photo op. But then after the signing was over, Joe Budden is the coolest motherfucker around. So he just like hung out for hours. Bro, chain smoking cigarettes, bullshitting with as many people as wanted to hang out, answering questions, just chopping it up with people. And, you know, we had done, you know, had this whole conversation with him, and I was like, yo, I went to Prophet. I was like, I got a copy of that CD in my fucking car, bro. Like, you think he would take it? And he's like, I don't know. I was like, fuck it, I'm going. So I ran to my car. I got the CD, and then like, I was like, I got a copy of our mixtape, and he took it. Man, I could only imagine if he listened to that shit. That shit got thrown out of the fucking other southern states somewhere, bro. If he even bothered to pop it in.
Yeah. Dude,
but he took it from me.
I mean, listen, yeah, that's dope that he took it. Like, that's the thing, man. Like, there was one time, so when I was doing music, you know, way back when, you know, like I said, in the beginning, people made fun of me. Like, they were just like, yo, this shit is so bad. But I wasn't doing it for them. I was doing it for me. You know, my dad died. I was fucking pissed. I was upset. You know, I was like, I just need to do this shit so I don't lose my fucking mind, you know. But people were still like, who cares? You suck. You know? I'm like, I know, but, you know, shut the fuck up. But, you know, but it's funny because it's like those same people later on down the line, they hit me up and they were just like, yo, I really like your music, da-da-da. I've been following it for a long while. And for me, that was like, wow, because those same people used to laugh, you know. But like one girl said to me, she's like, I still have your old CD. And I'm like, God, get rid of that fucking shit. Like, I will pay you for it so I can get rid of it for you. Yeah. You know, like one of my boys was like, yo, I got the old CDs, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, yo, can I borrow them? I want to, like, you know, upload them, you know? And he's like, yeah, I got you. And those were like the only copies left. And I was like, cool. And I got them. And I'm like, I'm not uploading this shit. I just broke them, motherfuckers. So I was like, they're gone. But, you know, so it's just like, but listen, that's where you come from, you know? Like, dude, I've been doing music since 2004. Yeah. I didn't release my first actual album that I was proud of until 2016. Wow. And I did a lot of fucking music, like, between that. And I did music that was very well known in my school with my friends. And, you know, we were like Homicide Records and shit like that, you know. And it was like me and Mystery and Ty Diggs and Vinny Idol and Daniela and all of us. And it's just crazy because, like, I don't know if they'll fucking watch this, but it's just wild to even say these names again because it's been so long. I mean, you're talking 2007, 8, 9, you know. But it's like, you know, it's a lot of time that went on. And to think, like, to do music for that long and not to be proud of something all the way up until, 2016. And even then I was like, that was just my starting point. Like I didn't make an album that I was like, this is it, until I like did Burn the Circus.
Right.
And then that was my second album. And I was like, okay, this is what I need to do, but it's crazy. I mean, where you come from and how much time you got to put in and just to get to that level, Well, nowadays, it's not like that no more. Nowadays, motherfuckers are just like, say whatever, and they're just like, I'm proud of this. But,
yeah,
but it's crazy, man. It really is.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I think, like, when we were young, we would put something out and we thought it was good. And until every time you level up, you kind of look back and go, like, oh no, like that wasn't it. Like, and then, I remember the first time we went to the studio and actually recorded in a real studio and had an engineer. We had probably been making music at that point, because we started like ninth grade together, like me, Prophet, and all them. And I'm thinking we had to be at least 19 or 20, so you're talking like 5 or 6 years before we like walked into a studio. And I remember, like, when we got back the copy of the CD that they gave us from No Mystery, the first time we were in there, like, it wasn't even mastered yet. It was just like what they gave us after the first studio session. We listened to it, I'm like, oh wow, we've been fucking this up the whole time, bro. Like, how the fuck did we think that everything else we ever did sounded good? Like, it sounds like shit compared to this. So, just looking back on that, it's and I even think about music now, but it's like, I don't know, like the thing about music for me was, like, music was such a way for me to, like, get, like, pain off of my chest. And I got sober like almost 10 years ago now, and I think,
congratulations.
Thank you, bro. And like, my life isn't perfect by any means, but it got so much better after that. A lot of the shit that I was dealing with, that I was writing music about, just, I don't know, like, I just never, I still wrote probably in my early recovery for about like the first year, but I never recorded any of it. And then at a certain point, I just felt like it was just gone, like for me. And it's just, it was never something that I like felt like doing again after that. And I think part of the reason was because I was just like, I had so much like angst and like just built up, and it was like just unresolved fucking issues that for me, like, that was just like what I wrote about. And like, and I think that what happened was kind of like the same thing that I talked about with the comedy, is that when I focused on something else for a certain time, I just never thought about writing again, and I've started writing other types. Like, I'm writing a novel right now, actually. It's something that I've always wanted to do, and I finally started doing it a few months ago, and I'm actually, like, the first draft is done. I'm doing a developmental edit right now, but it's something that I've always wanted to do. And seeing you guys with the film, I kind of took that as like an inspiration too, because I used to write screenplays also, and I never got any of the screenplays that I wrote actually made into a film. So when I saw you guys put out Devils, I was like, fuck, like, I want to go back and like I want to put part of my story like into a film.
Yeah. I
was having such like writer's block trying to write it as a screenplay, because I don't know, like the format of writing a screenplay is a little bit awkward, especially if you hadn't done it in 10 years. When I used to write screenplays, I was doing it enough where like I would just be able to flow with it. But trying to write in the format was distracting me so much from what I was trying to write out on paper. So I said, fuck it, maybe I'll just write it as a novel first, and then I can always adapt it later. Yeah. But then it just took such a different direction that, like, it still took elements from my real life and experience from my real life, but I wouldn't even say it's loosely based on my life. It's just, there's certain events that I was able to draw parallels from, that I was able to give like the main character some more realism, because I was able to take like some legal trouble that he's in the story, and take legal trouble that I've been in, and like my feelings and thoughts and reactions to, like, having certain people question you, and like being in that situation, like how you feel, the thoughts that go through your head when these things are happening. So there's certain parallels that are drawn from that, but it's not, it's more of an abstract, you know, still from my experience, but more in an abstract way. But you know, that's something that, you know, now, like now more than ever, I'm like, I want to like publish this book, and then immediately I want to like start adapting it either into a limited series or a film. And the reason why I say that, like, I don't know how much like Netflix and Hulu and shit like that you watch, but I've noticed like there's all these limited series popping up, and the thing I like about it is like it's like a middle ground.
Yeah,
because a lot of times when they adapt a book into a movie, they have to cut out so much character development, and so much of the plot gets lost trying to chop it down into a 2-hour film. And by doing these limited series, and especially when they're adapted from a novel, they're able to take 4 episodes and make, you know, 4 hours or 6 hours or 9 hours.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be multiple seasons or anything like that, but they're able to kind of get all of that character development and all of that, all those plots into the story. And I really love that about, you know, some of those things. Yeah. So when you said you were working on a series, is it kind of something like that where?
So I mean, it would depend. Like, I think what you were saying is a smart thing to do, to like write a novel, or, you know, or just write, like even like a treatment or a short story or whatever the case is. And then when you're proud of that, to make that into like a screenplay, you know, or like summarize it and then, you know, eventually turn it into a screenplay. You know, I mean, if it really would depend on where we want to go with the story. It would depend on how in depth we want to go, how much funding we would have for it.
Yeah.
You know, I personally, with the one project that I've been working on and writing, I would probably want to do more of a season-based thing.
Okay.
You know, like a series.
Yeah.
I mean, just because like I really love those elements in a series where it's like where they end and you're just like, oh, I can't wait until that comes back. I just want to know what happened.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and it's like, I just love that. I love like giving people cliffhangers. I love like making people excited for more, you know, because that's what is exciting for me in film. Like if you can get people to really love a character or hate a character and like really feel what these people are feeling, then that's mission accomplished. And I feel like it's not taken away from limited series, but you know, there is a start and finish point. After that's done, it's done.
Yeah.
Whereas they don't really, a lot of the time they finish their story and then it's over and they're not planning on more seasons. Whereas we can keep it going if we want to and just feel it out and see. So I think that's probably what I would probably go with. It would probably be a series. But like I said, I mean, it really depends on how far I really wanted to take the story. I mean, right now, I probably would have enough of material, not that it's all written, but in my head and notes that I put down, but not actually fully written down. But I think I would have enough of material for like 2 or 3 seasons. But I would probably do like, you know, I don't know how long episodes would be, but probably like 6 episodes, you know, nothing like crazy. I wouldn't be doing like 10 episodes, 20 episodes. I think that's crazy. That's just, the budget would be insane. But, you know, but there are a lot of elements. That's the thing with filmmaking. There's so many elements to it. It's not like music where it's like, I mean, for some of the parts, it's just like, hey, we got to get this beat. We got to license it, you know, or make it. Yeah. Then we got to, you know, drop vocals on it, right? You know, mix it, master it, boom, we got a song. You know, it's like there's so much casting and set production and makeup design and just everything. I mean, I can go on. The production side of it, you know, you got producers, executive producers, you have gaffers, you know, your lighting techs, you have, you know, your direction, you have your assistant directors, you have, you know, there's just, I could go on forever. I mean, it's just, there's so many elements to a film. Yeah. And there's so many different ways that money can be thrown. Yeah. So it really depends on where that budget is. And that's why I always tell people, like, don't do what we do and just, like, be like, hey, let's just put all of our money into this. Like, get funding, you know? But yeah, like I said, I think that's a great idea. You know, do like a novel or something, or do a story to where it feels good, and be like, don't like say like, hey, I gotta hit like 500 pages. Like, just be like, yo, like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know, just write your thoughts.
So that's why I'm still doing a developmental edit, because when I first started writing, I was just like getting the whole story from beginning to end down, and it came out to like 40,000 words. And I was like, what is 40,000 words? Like, I don't know, like what most novels have. And I Googled it, and they're like, well, a novel is technically anything longer than, I think, 50,000 words, but that's really short for a novel. They say like the more modern definition of a novel is really between 70 and 80,000 words or more. Yeah. So I was like, all right. So I started going back, and I'm like, you know, there's a lot of character development that was left out, because I was really just trying to get from where the story started to where the story ended. So now I'm like, I've already added like 5,000 words more, and I'm still in chapter 1. So I'm like, by the time I'm done going through it, I'll definitely be well over the 80,000 mark. And you know, but I kind of just had to go back through and say like, all right, like I didn't put any description into like how he was, what was going through his head when the FBI is raiding his fucking office. You know, I didn't like I just kind of said they were raiding the office, they questioned them, and then, you know, like so now I'm like really deep into it, and like now it's kind of like coming to life for me, and I'm like, holy shit, like I could see this. And in my head, I'm thinking about it. Because I already had thought about the idea of turning it into a movie or a series. And I'm like, the cool thing about it, that there's not a whole lot of stuff that would fuck with the budget, other than, you know, that there's a scene where they light a barn on fire. So that might be problematic. But who knows? By the time this happens, the AI might be good enough. I could just create that.
Listen, man, they have a lot of special effects where you can do a lot of great things, you know. And it's not that, you know, expensive to do it. You know, if you have proper lighting and you know, have like a good grasp on editing and visual effects, I mean, you could do a lot. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a great way to go, you know. And like I said, I mean, when it comes down to things like that, I mean, if you did try to, because like for me, I would be like, nah, we gotta really light a fucking barn on fire.
That's how I would. Like that's and the thing is, it's like, you know, first of all, that's got to come with like, now you have to have EMTs and pyro. You have to have like the
you
right
gotta
people.
Have the fire department in that area, that district, or whatever the case is.
To allow you to
do that and be present. And it's like, it's a lot. It's a lot of fucking work. It really is. I mean, one of the projects we were gonna work on, one of the music videos, and I said that. I was like, yo, I gotta have fire around me when I'm like performing. And they're like, yo, you know, you could probably like die. And I'm like, I mean, you know,
I'm willing to die for this shit.
It's just like, yo, like it is. But you know, it's like, still, it's like, dude, you can't just like fucking light a fire. Like you have to, there's regulations here, you know? So, you know, it's a lot of work, man. It's like we said before, like the amount of work that goes into this shit is crazy. And it's hard because with me, like personally, I'm that kind of person where it's bad, because it's like I'll be doing something like Devils, right? Like all this time we put into Devils, we're going, working. Like, dude, there was 2 days we were on set and I was so sick, dude. Like I was so fucking sick. And everybody, like, thank God for Anna and us being a partner directing this film, because like I couldn't function to a point. I was taking Advil like left and right, and like I was just so sick, and everybody's like, are you all right? And I'm like, absolutely fucking not. And I'm like trying to power through it. And Anna just eventually took over, and I just had to like lay on the couch and just relax, because I was like fucking dying, you know? And then it's like the next day on set, I'm just like a little bit better, but still dying. And then like everybody's like, you need to go to the doctor. And I went to the doctor, found out I had like walking pneumonia.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. And I just fucked myself up so bad. But, you know, it's just like, you know, there's just so much to it. People don't realize, like, how much work, how much time goes into it. And it's like, I think one of the hardest parts for me is to keep focused. Like once it's done, like I was focused on Devils, but once Devils was done, I'm like, all right, on to the next thing. Like we got to go. And it's not that easy to do, but if I don't have a goal, I start getting bored and stir crazy, and I'm like, I got to go.
Right.
And when we were doing filmmaking, I was like drifting away from music so much, where people were like, okay, cool. So like you act now and you do this. And, you know, and that's the thing too. Like I found out, like I got nominated for a best acting award for one of the festivals, you know, and it's like crazy to think about that stuff. But at the same time, people are like, but you are an artist. Where's the fucking music? You know, like where's the music? And now it's like, damn, like I gotta do that. But when you do these things, and I feel like you venture off, like going back to the beginning of our conversation, you do all these different things, right? Like you start writing music, you're recording music. Hey, I want to mix, I want to master, I want to do my own shit, I want to do videos. I'm gonna learn. Boom. I want to do graphics. I gotta make a cover. I'm gonna do that too. All this adventuring around, it's like you're in the woods. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to figure out like where you're going. All this stuff starts to come together. You finally are like, boom. Sometimes you got to do different things or go different routes. I love filmmaking. It is a passion of mine, but I go to filmmaking because I was losing that fire in me in the music area. I go into the filmmaking part, and there's music. Devils is a song, you know, but that triggered me to be like, I got to go back now and do more music. I got to do this. And it triggered me to do music that I normally wouldn't be doing anymore. I originally was doing an album about my life, and now I'm like, I don't need to do all that. I don't feel passionate about that anymore. Some songs, but not a whole project. I don't need to explain my dad, my mom, my how I became, you know, got my name, everything like that. It's in the film. I can't explain it better than what's in the film. Right. So my point is like, you know, when you do this and you go all these different routes, it will bring you back to where you need to be. You know what I'm saying? And that's like the joy of it, you know, like me, now that I did this, now I'm like, I need another goal. Boom. We got different routes, different films, different, you know, series ideas, music videos, stuff like that. And now I'm like, now I got to get back into album mode. I got to work on this next project. And that's what did it for me. You know what I'm saying? That's why sometimes it's like, damn, like, is it meant to be? Should I be doing this? Should I not be doing this? But life kind of like brings you into the position it's supposed to, and it brings you into those things. Like I say it a lot, like sometimes you got to fucking get lost in order to know where you got to go. You know what I'm saying? And I've done that 1,000,001 times. Yeah. And I essentially think like Devils was another, you know, like, description of that, you know?
Yeah. No, I get it, man. I feel like I'm a firm believer in like everybody who you cross paths with for a reason. Like there's certain people that it's like, you know, they end up in my life exactly when they're supposed to be. Sometimes to teach me a lesson or whatever the case may be, you know? You know, I try to keep these down to like an hour just because I like to keep them watchable. But dude, I really appreciated you coming on. I wanted to, first of all, before I wrap up, give you an opportunity, anything that you want to plug, anything that you have coming up or anything that's already out there that you want to plug. Keep in mind, I'll definitely put all the descriptions, any links in the description. I meant to say like your social media, the, you know, YouTube channel, but anything you want to plug and put out there now for people watching.
First and foremost, I want to shout out the entire Devils team. Listing everybody, I'll probably leave out names. I'm not going to try, but I mean, definitely Profit NYC, Anameo, West Egg, Rival Records, Mike Steadley, Carlos, John Mitchell, our AD and producer and everything. I mean, he did so much. We call him the Wizard. Nisha Modi, Kat Ledleen. Kat, you'll probably kill me because I probably butchered your name. But listen, I could go on and on and on. Thank you to the entire Devils team, you know, for getting this film together. We won so much. We'll continue to win so much. You know, it was just amazing, an amazing experience. But yeah, I mean, just keep following us, West Egg Media on Instagram, Rival Records, D1C3 official, Dice. It's not D1C3, just spell it that way. Profit NYC, Anameo. westeggmedia.com. I can go on forever. Go on the YouTube, follow us, watch out for everything that we're going to be putting out. There's going to be more music. It's definitely going to be, well, my music's definitely going to be interesting. It's going to be a lot. I'm going back to the vulgar ways, so that'll be fun. But yeah, just keep watching out for it. Like I said, I go on forever. Prophet NYC got a lot of great things coming. We're working on more. Maybe we'll be back with Chris Conway. Yeah, just a million and one things, man. I could go on, like I said, I could go on forever, but just look out for it. Follow us, follow the whole team. And yeah, we're going to have some fun.
Thanks, brother. And thank you, everybody, for watching. I'm going to put all the links in the description to everybody who he mentioned. I'm going to put the link in the description to the short film and Dice's social media and West Egg. If you're still watching, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're back with live, or not live episodes, but new episodes every Sunday on YouTube. And as of now, we're also posting to X, formerly Twitter, and we'll see you next week.